Morning, everybody. Am I online? Yes, I am. Huh? Oh. Morning, everyone. It's a new day in the new world. Today we're going to be reading lore. All the lore we've collected over the past 11 days, we're going to go through and read it. Because this might be our last chance to get some clues before the actual game comes out. What the heck is going on this island? We don't know. This is my character. I changed clothes yesterday. Last couple of days. Oh, first, Amazon News. They started merging the servers together. And they found some problems. Persistency problems. Persistence is when you have stuff and then you sign off and then you sign back on and your stuff is still there. Well, some people were discovering that their stuff was not there. It was no longer persistent. It did not exist. So that's one of the bugs they found when they started testing merging servers. And that's what's going on. That's the latest news for today. A couple of bugs, they're trying to fix it. Yesterday, we did some town quests, and that's where I left off. I'm at level 36. 90 stone blocks. But, I have an upgrade for level 22. Let's get some more gathering. Today we're going to go read some lore. Because this is a lore page right there. And you run around and you read all the stuff. And it gives you clues about the island, about the people that live here, about the stories. I mean, about the, what's going on. About the ship and crew of people that have been here before us. I think there's another piece of lore on these rocks somewhere, but I don't know where. I might be thinking of a different settlement. Because we only have we only have 2 pages on this lore. So there should be a third piece to it. I might be thinking of different rocks. But I think there's a third lore page around. Let me get a quick look around and then we'll go to the house and read some lore. Nope, I don't see anything. Alright. Let's go to my little happy house. And we'll read the lore. And we'll see what's going on. I live over here. I've lived in that house. I lived in this house. And now I live in this house. Ta-da! My little dining area. I like to sit here and eat food and look out the window. People watch. See what's going on over there. Here's my little kitchen area with my butcher's block. Oh, kind of short. I'm shorter than I thought I was. I'm not even as tall as the stove. Storage for stuff down here. There's my little upstairs area. My storage chest. Here's my bedroom. I have my dresser and stuff. I like to come in here, relax. Take a nap. And I wake up and I come over here to my computer desk. And I'll read lore and stuff that I found everywhere. So let's take a look at lore. Push J for journal. And then documents. These are all the different areas of Eternum. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But there's not 13 areas. There's looks like 11. There are 11 territories? No. 10 territories. And then there's other things here. So this tells you, have you found all the pages? No, we've only found 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2. 2 out of 18. This is a big one. 8 out of 10. So if we had more than 13 days to play the game, we could have found more stuff. Here's a lot of stuff. It looks like we found all these. Some of those. We didn't find that. So let's start reading some stuff. Star excavation. I, the great Simon Grey, will unlock all the secrets of these long-forgotten chambers. With Foreman Nakashima so graciously accepting my direction, the Armin Excavation will yield marvelous results. May this mark the beginning of our journey into the depths. After months of hard work and guesses, I have made a true breakthrough. That wily foreman of mine suggested that we transcribe the ancient ruins. They are still hot with Azoth burning on the pillar in the chamber to the east. The man can be handy with his base attention to his craft. After comparing the runes with those in the chamber to the south, which is some sort of entry or vestibule chamber, I made the brilliant leap. Marred text has allowed us to reactivate the crossing using the note becomes illegible. That idiot Simon is continuing to disturb powers beyond his comprehension. I am quite certain tinkering randomly with the Kana and the obelisk room will come to no good. I've taken the precaution of sealing the chamber off to protect us from Simon and his food pretenses at research. Oh, that's Foreman Nakashima. What? Tinkering randomly with Makana in the obelisk room. Okay. Simon Grey is the gigantic troll at the bottom of the Armin Expedition. Apparently he was not always a gigantic troll. And he had a partner. And remember that weird noise that we heard when after we defeated Simon Grey? So it's coming from the Makana. What is Makana? I don't know. Some kind of radio transmitter to the stars, to the future, maybe? It is some kind of radio telescope. It was clearly radio signals, radio waves. It sounded like it. Let's see if there's more clues. Master Zint, please take care of Barkimedes for a few days while I'm in the excavation. Foreman Nakashima never gets any work done when he's around. Barkimedes is that friendly wolf outside of the Armin Expedition. Apparently Barkimedes used to belong to Simon Grey. I did not know that. But now I do know it. And there is some kind of mechanism inside the Inside the obelisk, inside the Armin Expedition. How do we get to it? How do we find it? What is it? Where did it come from? Who built it? What the heck? So that's very mysterious. Very mysterious. So now we know a little bit about star excavation. So it has something to do with the stars, with the sky. Huh. I'm telling you, there could be aliens in here. There could be aliens, there could be dinosaurs. Dear Nikki, it's been 4 months since you left home to join the Soul Wardens. Are you staying safe? Are you eating right? I miss seeing your face at the breakfast table every morning. I said some harsh things when you left. I'm sorry. I was so scared of the path you are taking. All I want is for you to be safe and happy. I've never seen a happy Soul Warden. I've never seen a happy Soul Warden. If your training becomes too hard, there's no shame in coming home. Everything can go back to the way it was. Someone else can save the world. Please write back. Love always, Mama. So Nikki was one of the Soul Wardens, and they ended up in a tomb. Are they still alive? Are they corrupted? Are they dead? We haven't found out, but there are... Jonas, the last Soul Warden, thinks they're all dead. But are they? We don't know. Because look at all these pages of lore that we have in here. What the heck? It could be, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe no. Lilith's last message. A scrawled note. The edges are eaten away by salt water. July 13th, 1060. We have a date on this note. 1060. The cities have fallen one by one. Corruption crests like a wave, and we don't have the strength to stop it. I'm so angry. I hate running. It's not in a Soul Warden's nature, but anger won't help our order survive. If you're reading this, it means we never came back. Maybe Eternum is a very different place now, but you're alive, still human. There's still hope. Take this half, whoever you are, and use it to stand against corruption. We'll be standing next to you in spirit. The Soul Wardens always answer the call. We're out of time. I have to go. Lilith, Soul Warden. She was one of the Soul Wardens, I guess, with Nikki. But the date on here is interesting. 1060. Spanish Inquisition took place in the 1700s, I think 1750, 1770, I don't remember. It's like a range. It wasn't just 1 year, it was a while. It took a few years. Let me ask Alexa, let me wake her up. So that means people have been coming here for at least 700 years. Alexa, when was the Spanish Inquisition?
According to Wikipedia, the Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition, commonly known as the Spanish Inquisition, was established in 1478 by Catholic monarchs, King Ferdinand II of Aragon and Queen Isabella I of Castile. It was intended to maintain Catholic orthodoxy in their kingdoms and to replace the medieval Inquisition, which was under papal control.
Oh, 1400s. Where did I get 1700s from? I don't know. It took place in 1478, so at least 400 years people have been coming to this island. Are you sure it's 1478? I thought it was 17 something. No, it can't be 17. That's too soon. That's the American Revolution in the 1700s. I don't know where I got 1700s from. Alright. I was wrong. It was the 1400s. Here's another letter from Lilith. A scrawled note. The edges are eaten away by salt water. The cities have fallen one by one. Corruption crests like a wave, and we don't have the strength to stop it. I'm so angry. Wait, didn't I just read this? This is "and we ran." Yeah, we just read that. The Amrine Forge. Received by Mastersmith Ezra. Ezra is probably Jonas's best friend or a very good friend. He used to be the blacksmith back in Soul Warden days. Amrine Forge received by Mastersmith Ezra. Now he's like a giant skeleton. Coal, iron, sanctified silver, bronze, leather, azoth, lumber. And he took all that and he created 250 iron swords, 600 bronze spearheads, 75 azoth staves, and 1,000 magic arrows. Note from Ezra. Jonas, this much coal will barely keep the forge lit. Unless we want to fight this war with sticks and stones, I need more supplies. E. So he was supplying the Soul Wardens with weapons and whatnots. This. Eyes in Ebon Rock. A paper covered in eye-watering symbols. As you stare at the symbols, they seem to twist strangely in your brain. You can feel the shapes of the sounds in your head, though you have no idea what they mean. All you can make out is some hint that the corrupted plan to attack the angry earth. Ubaha Nog Padenya Na Dobambi. I don't know how to read this. The corrupted plan to attack the end. This is corrupted language then. I wonder if this is a real language and if it can be deciphered. Let's look at it and see if there's any repeating words in here. Anything that repeats, like Nog, NGO, Bob, any kind of words in here that repeat. Here's NGO. Here's NGO. This could be the. Are there any words that repeat that can give us clues? Ambi, Bimpy, Ambi. Ambi, whatever. This could be actual words that someone, whatchamacallit, encrypted into a different language. We could try to solve this. Let me take a picture of it. And I'll put it into, I'll save it on my desktop or whatever, and then I'll try to decipher it. This could be the, T-H-E, the. That's a very common word. T-H-E. So we know the O is an E. That could be E. E-H. No, it doesn't work that way. Because this would be EH. What word ends with EH? Nothing. Meh. That's about it. It's not a letter by letter translation. There might be other words that start with a NGO, like there, THE or E. Could be and, A-N-D. DN, this would be DN. What word ends with DN? Yeah, see, no, it's not a letter by letter thing. We have to work harder than that to get it. I'm doing it in my head, that's why I'm being quiet. I'm trying to decipher it. That it keeps repeating here. That's 3 times. It says, decipher this message and you will get a free copy of Amazon's New World and free Amazon Prime forever. Just kidding, that's not what it says. It says, be the first to decipher this message and win your prize. I don't know. I'm just fooling around. That whatever, however you pronounce that A with the little tint on it. And ambi seems to mean something. There's a lot of ambis in here. Bambi, Manambi, Ambi, Obambi, Obambi. Let me save this. I'll decipher it later. Hang on. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Can you? No. I'm saving a copy of the picture I took, the screenshot I took. And then I'll try to translate it using the help of the internet later. There's all kinds of cipher websites and whatnot, decryption websites, all kinds of cool stuff on the internet. Let's save it as it's being slow. Save CYPHER cipher. We'll try to figure that out later when I'm offline. Alright. The monsters of Bright Rest. A report written on official Covenant letterhead. The curse of the Eldritch continues to plague us here in Brightwood. It has chosen the brightest cemetery, Bright Rest Cemetery, as its killing ground. Perhaps it had some connection to the place in life. All my cleverest strategies have served only to lead my soldiers to their repeated deaths. as if the creature is laughing at us. The people of Brightwood have faith in the Covenant. If they cannot visit the graves of their loved ones, many will fall to despair. We must protect them, as the spark protects us. Please send more troops from the 4th Battalion. Our need is urgent. Lieutenant Templar General de Aquitaine. ITLOTS. I don't know what ITLOTS is. It's I don't know. But there was a giant troll in the middle of Bright Rest Cemetery that we had to fight. And we did, and we defeated it. So nobody wants their loved ones resting in peace when the cemetery has a giant troll in it. Big old evil troll in it. This is pretty cool. To the Templar General, a message written on official Covenant letterhead. To the attention of Templar General Carvalho, the bearer of this letter wishes to form a coalition between the factions to fight corruption. To that end, they have requested the Covenant attend a parley. I believe it is in our best interest to attend. Our sacred charge is to vanquish the lost. Our pragmatic need is to battle the other factions. Yet corruption will consume us all if we do not act. Before we are Covenant, we are human. Grant me permission to attend the parley on behalf of the Covenant. I will represent our faction with honor. Lieutenant Templar General Aquitaine. ITLOTS. So this is something that we did when we were trying to unite the factions against the Tempest. And General Thorpe is either the Tempest, a lieutenant for the Tempest, or the commander of the Tempest, or something. We don't know. But General Thorpe has something to, or Captain Thorpe has something to do with the Tempest. And that's what we're trying to stop. We haven't uncovered these things. Observation Report Day 1. A Syndicate research report written by Dr. Theo shows signs of storm damage. Oh, the report has signs of storm damage to the paper that it's written on. Parchment. My colleagues and I have discovered a fascinating phenomenon at the ruins in Weaver's Fen. To call it a microclimate would be an understatement. It appears to be a small, permanent hurricane. I'm reminded of the colossal storm wall that pens in the whole island of Eternum. This smaller one seems to act on the same principles. The potential implications of this research are staggering. Among other things, we might finally find a method to escape this island. Okay, I don't remember this. I don't remember a small microclimate hurricane dillybob in Weaver's Fen. We've explored a lot of Weaver's Fen, but I did not see anything like this. Observation Report Day 5. So this is 4 days later. A Syndicate research report written by Dr. Theos shows signs of storm damage. To differentiate our phenomenon from its cousin, the Great Storm Wall, we've taken to calling it the Lesser Storm Wall, or LS. Some observations on the LS. The vortex circumference is roughly 150 yards and remains remarkably stable over time. Wind velocity is approximately 130 miles per hour. The eye of the storm hasn't moved an inch since we started observing it. We do not yet know what lies at the eye of the LS. None of our attempts to breach the wind barrier have yet been successful. Perhaps if we were to build some kind of anchoring system. Okay, so apparently there's some kind of structure in Weaver's Fen that we missed. In our exploring, we did not see it. Observation report, day 11. So this is 6 days later. Our campsite seems to have been surrounded by wildlife sometime in the small hours. They're acting strangely but haven't moved to attack us yet. I've heard my fellow scientists make reference to a phenomenon called Blight that affects angry earth creatures in Eden Grove. The description seems to fit my observations of the creatures that now circle the ruins. The evidence suggests that the Blight is spreading south. Dr. Fawn has hired several hunters to guard the camp perimeter from attack. I persuaded one of them to collect tissue samples from the creatures for me. We'll see what the microscope reveals about this Blight. Blight is a soil-borne disease. Travels through the soil. That's probably why it's affecting the angry earth. Interesting. Let's keep reading. Observation day 13. A closer look at these blighted tissue samples has revealed both animal and vegetable characteristics. Both hemoglobin and chlorophyll are present in the blood. Or is it sap? I have so many questions. I also took a biopsy of the red fungal-looking growths that affected the creature, presumably as a result of blight. Unfortunately, the tissue sample ate through the glass slide before analysis could be completed. Curse these magical diseases. Meanwhile, the lesser storm wall seems to be growing more unstable. Its circumference now varies up to 3 yards, and the wind velocity has increased. Observation continues. Interesting. Huh. Something weird going on here. Observation report, final day. Dr. Lipa's research camp was destroyed last night. The Lipa's research camp was destroyed last night. The lesser storm wall sustained a sudden energy surge that caused it to explode in size and force. Cause currently unknown. I awoke in the wreckage of my tent and escaped with nothing more than the pajamas on my back. So much valuable research data destroyed. It's my understanding that Dr. Fawn, who was killed in the Stormwall flare, is now recommending against re-establishing the camp, claiming safety concerns. Not to question my colleague's commitment or her courage, but aren't a few deaths a small price to pay to uncover the truth behind this phenomenon? But I'll leave that for the ethics panel to decide. So apparently the lesser storm exploded, and that's why we didn't see it in Weaver's Fen. It kind of just exploded everywhere. Why? I don't know. And what? What a mysterious thing, eh? So, maybe the lesser storm was created by someone and they destroyed it. Maybe the lesser storm was going to become something and someone stopped it from becoming something. Maybe it was just a natural phenomenon that occurred because of the greater storm that's keeping everyone on the island. We don't know. Very mysterious. Very mysterious. Nuts. We have lots of lore here to find out. More lore. So that was Stormwall was from Weaver's Fen. So let's see if there's any Stormwall stuff in here. No. Tales of Brightwood. Cutlass Keys. This is the touched coin. We're still doing that quest. We haven't picked up the coin. We haven't given it over to anyone. But we have all the lore for it. Excuse me. Swampy's Cookbook. Oh, that was a cool one. We're going to make these things in real life and make videos about them, remember? Yeah. I don't know what brined cheese is. Brined cheese? I don't know. They sound kind of good. Brined brisket. I don't know what anise seeds taste like. Remember that? That was cool. Oh, this is just business stuff. We read that whole entire thing while we were playing the game. People dying and becoming flowers and then reappearing to their loved ones. Kind of sad and stuff. We are 30 days at sea, tossed by gale winds and rumbling waves. The crew are tossed from their bunks when trying to sleep, and some have taken to tying themselves down for their resting shifts. The closer we come to that strange landmass, the more violent the ocean becomes. So we have tried our best to sail around it. The navigator is perplexed. There is no known island here on any map. That's because no one ever leaves to make a map. Pirates, bloody pirates. We were boarded while I was abed last night, and several of my men were slaughtered in the taking of the ship. Their bodies were tossed unceremoniously overboard, and even more than that, some living who defied the invaders were also thrown to the sea. I am cooperating for now, keeping my captain's log in a secret place. I can only hope some pages survive, as it seems the pirates are intent to make landfall on the island we were trying our best to avoid. I believe it to be a suicide mission, but their captain, Master Henry, as he's called, is sure this island holds riches unimaginable. For the sake of my crew, I hope these pirates get what they want, and then promptly let us go. Even life on a deserted island is better than being a prisoner at sea. Captain Yennefer. So, pirates. But they don't know what's waiting for them on Eternum. They think it's full of gold. Well, they got what was coming to them. All that racket Morrison was making last night must have scared off the fish. That damn fool running around and singing at the top of his lungs like this were some old world stage. Now I sit with my line in the water completely still. Not a bite in sight. Lord knows why I put up with him. The bloated corpses of an adventurer washed up in the nets today, and the poor lass was neither dead nor alive. She was withered, missing an arm and her wits. Morrison had to use his fishing spear, to pierce her skull and put her out of her misery. It is odd, for Withered usually do not come this way. My instincts tell me this will not be the last Withered we see, and that as more lost souls wash up on this island, more will be made into fetid and mindless husks. Well, that's kind of horrible. There's a young girl who's withered and had to stab her in the head with a spear. Oh, Alcott. Remember, we've been to Alcott's farm many times. Sawyer Alcott. This is near Everfall, I think. The Alcott farm. Is that where it is? I think so. It's close by. Sawyer Alcott. Let's see what happened there. We've instructed the little ones in the ways of the trading post, and they seem to be taking to it swimmingly. They, with the protection of the older ones, take our goods to market while we sow the fields. All of Everfall now knows of the Alcott family gourds and their quality. Our life here is so much more prosperous than we could ever have imagined when we took the risk to leave the old world behind. Yes, there is danger abound here, but if one simply sticks to the roads and a steady routine, even a family as big and peaceful as ours can survive and even flourish. So you guys know what happened to the Alcott family, right? Now they're all corrupted. They're red farmers. No, they're withered. They're withered. That's the farm where we go get corn and stuff. Jameson Alcott. I can hardly sleep tonight, and Father pointed it out. A red glow in the woods, ever so faint among the tops of the trees. I thought it mad at first, for who would climb the trees but a hunter setting up a blind? It dawned on me that this red entity could indeed be a hunter, and that we are the ones being hunted. I feel crimson eyes on me now. I won't take the little ones to market tomorrow. I won't even leave this house. Something or someone is coming, and we must be prepared. So, they were doing good selling stuff in Everfall. Making lots of money on the trading posts. And then the corrupted came. And stuff happened. That's what happened to the Alcotts. Found in Everfall settlement. Beware the bear. Oh, I hate bears. Polly said it might help me if I wrote some of my fears down. It'd take away their power, she said, so here goes. Bears. Massive teeth, massive claws, and are rare to wake the dead. I am terrified of bears and know that they roam Bearclaw Pass to the east of here. Hence its nomenclature. I have heard fearsome lynxes roam the area as well. Oh, bother. I don't think this is helping. Another fear I have is ghosts. Polly looks at me strangely when I speak of this fear, but how could she not be afraid of spirits come back from the dead? Their spectral hands reach for me in my nightmares to slash at my throat, grip cold and hollow. I know they're out there, and I think writing about them is only making me more scared. Yeah, me too. That just sent some shivers up my spine right now. I think so too. Life in the Fallow Hill. Found in the Fallow Hill Farm. Today is a dark day at Fallow Hill Farm. From repulsion succumbed to withering, leaving the once proud man not but a chittering gibbering mess. We mourn him, but we must also now be wary of him and others who, in their repeated deaths to the corrupted and elements, may follow him. Could this signal the end of our prosperity? I pray to Providence that no more of us turn, and that this farm stays productive for the Everfall and Monarch's Bluff settlements, that they rely upon our crops. Blech. So the more you die, the more corrupted you become, I guess, until finally you turn. You reach the tipping point and go over it, and then there's no coming back. Or is there? Wah. Old world fishing. I need more water. Some might ask, what is the difference between fishing in the old world and Eternum? Well, first of all, the fish are more abundant here in Eternum for the island's regenerative properties. Two or more than 20 fishers can be in the same spot and still find gainful fishing. Secondly, the fish have an incredible amount of biodiversity. Fish fountain salt waters around the world can be found here, and the same applies to freshwater fish. Finally, fishing in Eternum is different because it's just more exciting. Setting up a cast and hearing the bushes behind you rustle with the movement of an animal. The adrenaline rush is unmatched on this dangerous island. This would make a good introduction for my fishing book. So, there's lots of fish because they keep coming back when you catch them. There's one fish so rare in Everfall that even I have not seen fin nor gill of it. The legendary Maje is said to look like a little man with webbed feet and hands, but that cannot be so. One day I will catch it and prove this ridiculous rumor wrong, but that day is not today. Do you think it's real, Machura? You would know best. Don't know. Is there any better feeling than fishing under starlight? Besides being a relaxing way to spend your evenings on Eternum, night fishing offers opportunities for fish that wouldn't normally be seen during the daytime. Some fish hide away until the moon is out, and they have the cover of darkness. It's not impossible for these fish to be seen when the sun is up, but some fish prefer the cloak of night. Yeah, that's a secret right there. You have night bait, and you have fish that only come out at night. That's a clue hiding in plain sight. And it's true. Some fishers want to blame the pole when they go home, empty-handed. But that's about the poorest excuse I've ever heard. I know better than that. The pole is important, yes, and a superior one can be engineered in any settlement with the proper station upgrades, but it's not everything. True fishing comes from the heart. I was born with the fishing rod in my hands, and while I've preferred some over others, the size and rarity of fish that I catch come more from a successfully aimed cast than an expensively crafted pole. The crafted poles will last you longer and get you higher quality fish, though, I'll give you that. That's another clue hiding in plain sight. The poles let you cast farther, and some of them have perks on them, like catching bigger fish and durability, so they wear out less. That's another clue about fishing hiding in plain sight. These are Ruby's fishing tips and tricks. I'm gonna go get some water, and I'll be right back. Agua. Water. Everfall Legacies. Found on the road into Everfall. General Crassus. General Crassus, I am writing to report to you of our dismal failure in the territory known as Everfall. As promised, there are ruins here that retain some of the ancient's power. How we might harness it, however, I haven't a clue. And I don't think we'll be acquiring that knowledge anytime soon. Unfortunately, the bountiful nature of this land seems to have seduced Legatus Marseilla to the extent that she has abandoned our cause and turned utterly provincial. For years, she justified our ongoing partnership with the residents of the settlement here, but it's become clear to me that she is simply making excuses for us to remain here indefinitely. Believe it or not, the people here have even elected her to be constable of the settlement, an appointment I regret to say she eagerly accepted. I have stuck around a few months, uncertain of whether it is my duty to see her punished for dereliction of duty. Even if I were so inclined, however, the locals here would thwart any attempt I made to do so. Rather, I am sending this report to inform you of the situation, and I will instead journey west in the hope of joining up with Legatus Fluvius before he goes to reek water. I trust that either you or the gods themselves will see to it that Marseilla is cursed for her betrayal. Legionnaire Carolus. December 23rd? Who wrote this? Oh, the Crassus. No, not Crassus. What's this person? Marseilla. Macia wrote it. The moment I set foot in Everfall, I knew I had found paradise. How could I ever return to the infernal brimstone desert knowing this was here? I decided then and there that I'd be abandoning the Legion. I just had to wait for Legionnaire Carolus to give up on me, which finally came to pass, thank the gods. My affection for the autumn colors hasn't waned to this day, but I do feel like I've become stuck somehow. Like the season itself, I'm in transition, waiting for a winter that will never come. Furthermore, I've started noticing a change in the people here, a hollowness about the eyes. Yesterday I went out and they all looked like puppets from some traveling mummers show. Then the weight of the sky started bearing down on me like a crushing misery. I just ran back into the town hall and frankly, I'm now scared to leave. I know Legionnaire Carolus would say I was cursed for betraying the Legion. I don't know if it's that or some further stroke of ill luck, but I won't be leaving town hall anytime soon if I can help it. I just hope the town doesn't turn against me. So, Macia, she kind of liked it there. And then stuff started to change and she became trapped there. Meanwhile, Carolus left. He kept on with his duty. Interesting. I wonder what the rest of that story is. Very interesting. Night of the Blue Flames. Heron. Nina. Clark. W.H. Oh, William Heron. W.H. That obelisk wasn't always shattered, and so the people who arrived in Eternum before me report. The ancient guardians once slumbered, naught but piles of bones on the old stone floors of their monuments. It was the explosion of the obelisk that awoke these old warriors, igniting blue flames around the island that cannot be extinguished by water or any natural means. Was there some sort of timer device? Did someone interfere where they should not have? Further research is required. Really? So the skeletons were not alive until the shattered obelisk shattered. That's very interesting. As we know, it was Granville who lit the fires. We know that from the first beta. But we haven't found Robert Granville's writings in the second beta yet. But it was a researcher sent to research stuff who lit the fires and created the ancients, it looks like, or brought them back to life or something. That means something was contained inside the shattered obelisk, and when it broke, it was released. And when it was released, it awoke the skeletons. Isn't that interesting? There's more mysteries. There's all kinds of stuff here. Mysteries. I am not the sort to write down what I see, for one day on Eternum is as strange as the next, but last night compelled me to put quill to parchment. Outside of my window was a blue glow, unmistakably the blue of Azoth. It shone in and pressed itself upon me, stirring me from sleep entirely. When I approached the window, the massive obelisk in the center of the towers was destroyed. Chunks of rock floating in the air, as if suspended by wires in a stage show. I know not what this means for the future of the settlement or the island, but I'm sure this marks a new era with horrors yet unfolding. I cannot return to sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see Azoth blue. Nina. So it exploded during the night. Which means what? Which means Granville was working late. Or something he did during the daytime caused some kind of overload or something. And the thing exploded at night. So, no skeletons, but Nina is going to wake up tomorrow morning to a world full of skeletons. Very interesting. So maybe the skeleton people had meat and bones on their bodies when they were worshipping the ancients, and then the ancients went to sleep and they took their servants with them, like into the afterlife, like the way Egyptians do. But when the shattered obelisk broke, it released the skeletons. Maybe it released the ancients as well. Where are the ancients? Are they floating around somewhere, being all silent? Maybe the ancients left the island. And they left their worshippers to sleep until they returned. But now the obelisk is broken. There's so many possibilities that could be going on here. There's a lot of different scenarios that could play out. It brings me an odd peace to walk the ancient ruins of Eternum. At least it did before the night of the blue flames. That's what the citizens have been calling last night. The awakening of the skeletons that now guard the ancient ruins. Blue flames went up all over the island, and I hear from the magistrate of Weaver's Fen, who sent a runner this morning to report on the phenomenon. What? Blue flames went up all over the island, I hear. Blue flames went up all over the island, I hear. Well, that's what happened. I don't know. My suspicion is that whatever happened to the obelisk triggered a mass revival event for the bones that we all ignored in our exploring. No longer will the coffers of the ancients stand unguarded, free for looting. We must warn everyone. There's no telling what else the Azoth explosion did to the land around us. We must remain vigilant now more than ever. So the Azoth was contained inside the shattered obelisk? And then it exploded and now it's released all over the place? What? Did the Azoth cause the corruption, or did the corruption... Was the corruption keeping the Azoth in check? Or was the Azoth keeping the corruption in check? What the heck? So there was no Azoth. It was just corrupting and blight and nastiness and whatnot. And now as the Azoth comes out, is it good and evil? The Azoth is good and the corruption stuff, the red stuff, is evil? I don't know, but it's interesting that there were people here, that there were no skeletons when there were people here, and the people created the skeletons. We know that the Angry Earth is fighting against the corruption, trying to keep it from expanding to the rest of the world. Do the Angry Earth have anything to do with Azoth? All we have are bits and pieces of very interesting story. Like, I say to you. This is the chef at Hilltop Encampment. Trappers brought a good haul today. Turkeys, rabbits, even an elk that had happened by. Just waiting for the Skinners in the upper camp to finish their work before I start breaking down the bits and pieces. Should have plenty set out to cure and smoke by the evening. A trader down from Eden Grove passed by and brought a couple of new recipes to add to my book. So it's a good thing I was able to convince Rossi to let me borrow his distillery. Probably could have set up with the bits around here, but his kit is better than anything I could rig together. Some of these ingredients are strange, but the trader said they're pretty popular recipes in that area. Never thought of adding meat to a distilled process, but I'll try anything once. This brew is odd. Not bad, but has a strange aftertaste. Like drinking whiskey with a pat of butter in it. Leaves a bit of a film in your mouth. It certainly does the trick though, so I've started bottling up this first batch for the boys here. Paul's New Brew seems to be a hit with everyone who's had it so far. Once we pack up camp, maybe I'll start a bigger business with Rust. Send it out to all of the settlements for everyone to enjoy. So he was a brewer. He was not like a food chef. Well, maybe he was a food chef, but he had like on the side, he liked to home brew his own stuff. Huh. Oh, magnets. As my full traces on Dr. Magnet successfully made the journey to Eternum with me, and having no knowledge of others with copies of their own, it falls to me to continue Gilbert's investigations on the nature of the magnet. As he states, knowledge of magnets is present across all over the world, from the earliest Greek and Jewish and Egyptian scholars to far and distant China. With many years of study being dedicated to their effects, here in this Terra Eternum, I may unlock a new path of research. Might Azoth influence these magnets in some way? Will they redirect the needle to a new north? Will they improve and enhance the capabilities of magnets? Only time and experimentation will tell. In Gilbert's final book, he makes reference to a mysterious fifth essence, one that links all bodies together in harmony, for the heaven of philosophers, as of theologians, must be gentle, happy, and tranquil, and not at all subject to changes. I seek to discover whether Azoth might be the universal ether on which magnets interact, that invisible yet measurable force. Or is Azoth a new tool for the aforementioned interaction, granting the bearer a new form of manipulating this ether, which was otherwise hidden? Perhaps the properties of magnets crafted from Eternum mined material are different in their effects. The miners at Etam's Pick have spoken of quality ores from their mines. I must inquire further. So there's some kind of nerd, like a scientist, studying magnets here. And I wonder what they found out. Magnets.
To whoever finds this, we are abandoning this place, perfect as it is, for betrayal is in the air. Our three families have loaded what we can carry, and will make the trek to the settlement in Cutlass Keys, as it is the closest. Normally we would go south to our friends in Dayspring Mills, but we have seen the fires from that direction. The miners now attack us on sight, and we dare not risk travel through the wilderness. We can only pray for our safety. If you are free to whatever you may find here. We have left with what is most important. Lost another pig this week, 7th for the month. We've been trying to keep ahead of those withered things. Make sure we can still get the crops in and the animals fed, but they're coming. They killed Wolfgang 2 nights ago. I hope he returns intact and not as one of those things. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to remain here at Nighthawks, but I'll keep fighting for this place. Built it with my own hands, and I won't let some shambling horde take it away from me now.
Some old dude that refuses to leave his home because he's always been there. That's all he knows. That's all he has. Found in Sercor Bridge. Another day, even more sifting through dirt. We've been in these ruins for nearly 2 weeks now, and this fool has us searching for bits of pottery and scraps of fabric. Where's the gold? Where's the jewels? Where are the treasures that will make us all wealthy like he promised? Should never have left the Canaan tomb site. Once this place is a bust, I'll head back there. At least they had those big ruins nearby. Some nice pieces in there. Fetched a fine price. Ah, a fine day indeed. The men have recovered a handful of pottery shards, which I believe to have come from some form of sacrificial bowl, indicating the ancients may have engaged in some form of ritualistic sacrifice. The silly arguments by the other researchers here. Oh, this is written by a different person, like a nerd or something. A fine day indeed. The men have recovered a handful of pottery shards, which I believe have come from some form of sacrificial bowl, indicating the ancients may have engaged in some form of ritualistic sacrifice. The silly arguments by the other researchers here, stating that the shards were a part of a common eating bowl, are absurd, particularly given the other pieces found there. A chipped knife blade, a long metal spike used for the execution, and a metal grate over the fire pit that must have been used to preserve the sacrifice after death. I have also uncovered crude drawings that may indicate a powerful relic being held there. The relic may be a piece of importance to the ancients, a religious statuary of some kind. I shall continue to search for it as long as it is needed. I will continue to search for it as long as is needed. Lots of scientists come to this island and research stuff. How do they know of its existence? How do they know that the island exists? Maybe it's just talked about in scientific literature. Don't know. Pirates come seeking gold and scientists come seeking knowledge. Interesting. Oh, this is a cool one. We read this already. That's where the captain killed his first mate, and it was all for nothing. Remember? Because they had to return anyway. He sacrificed his first mate, thinking that would help. It did not help. That was a cool one. We read that one during the game. Ethelgard? Oaks. Why does Oaks sound familiar? Because of Sylvia Oaks. She's the constable of First Light. Who's Ethelgard? Albert. I won't be returning to the settlement, and I suspect everyone will be relieved, my own mother most of all. But you know that in the decades since we arrived on these accursed shores, my burden has been by far the worst. For her. It's damned unnatural for a child to watch a parent remain young as they grow old. Why, I'm one of the handful here cursed to continue aging. I will never comprehend. I tried to accept Mother's youth, but after she became constable, it was impossible. Watching her take command with such vigor has only hastened my decay. Even today I listen as she and Artificer Kim made plans for some bright future. They don't realize how stupid they sound. Whether we grow old here or not, whether we suffer or thrive, none of us will get the peace of eternal slumber. And without the promise of death, I simply do not see the point of pretending that we are living. I thank you for your friendship, Albert, but I must now turn my back on First Light and embrace the darkness, whatever that may bring. Ethelgard Oakes. So he's the son of Sylvia Oakes, the Constable of First Light. His mother didn't age? What? Aging stopped. Why does she not age? Something she's eating, something she's drinking? That's different. That is different. Now I have to go play that whole Sylvia Oakes questline again and see, look for clues. I did not know she was not aging. There may be something hidden in all the quests that she talks and stuff and says things in it. Interesting. Found at the constable's desk in First Light. March 18th. I've long since lost track of how long I've been on Eternum, and other than the vague recollections of bearing children, I can't even remember my life in the old world. I don't know if it's time that's taken the toll on my memory, or all the lies. Each year they've piled higher, and I can no longer sort the truth from the false. Watching Ethelgard slowly shrivel in body and spirit, I forced myself into the habit of putting on a hopeful smile, no matter how I felt inside. Saints know I tried. For his sake I risked everything, in a desperate bid to escape this island. But as with everything else here, I ended with disappointment. For some reason, I still remember the smell of his skin when he was a newborn. But in the years before he left, Ethelgard smelled like a sick old man. I reached the point where I couldn't even get close to him. I'll never forgive myself for that. I only hope where he is now he's found some measure of peace. Damn. That's a note from somebody's mom talking about her son. That's heart-wrenching. Think about that. Dang. Pretty cool, though. That's a good story. I want to know more about that. They need to make that into a TV show. That's a good one. That's a good story. We found a bunch of stuff in Monarch's Bluff. That's where I was going to live. Remember, I was going to buy a house there. Which reminds me, I have to abandon my house and see what happens when I abandon it. I'll do that tomorrow. I don't think you get the money back when you abandon your house. I don't think you get your original $5,000 back. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's the boy that fell. He used to throw rocks in the well, and then one day he disappeared. And the neighbor used to complain about him. Nosy neighbor. Some madman attacked me. He was crazed and wild with red eyes that struck fear in my heart. I held him back with my pitchfork and he ran away. The stink coming off him is one I will not soon forget. Now that stench won't come off my pitchfork no matter how many times I wash it. Thomas. Yeah, you gotta cleanse it with fire. Coming to this island was a mistake. I came to this island seeking fortune and riches. But I was misled. This place is no heaven. As I lie here dying, I feel my soul leaving its husk. Is this how it felt, Faustus? To have body and soul ripped to pieces by the claws of fiends. Maybe like Faustus, my fate was sealed when I signed to come to this place. Maybe coming to this island was both my sin and my punishment. Oh, Marguerite. This guy's dying. I thought he was just normal, but then he started dying. He got killed. He wrote a note. He left a note when he was dying. Oh yeah, Nibbler. Remember Nibbler? We read about Nibbler. Oh yeah, and the guy in the... they left him trapped in the toilet because it stunk so much. These are the ship's manifest and things. Mutiny is upon us. Boatswain Arona has gotten it into everyone's heads that the ship would be better run by him, and the whispers of dissent have grown to a dull roar below decks. I will have to reinstate my authority by any means necessary if we are to reach our destination in time. So, people know of the existence of the island. They just don't know what's here, and they don't know that they can never leave. Information is getting out. How is information getting out? But people are not. Researchers coming here, people searching for gold coming here. We came here. Information is getting out somehow, but people are not. Or are people getting out? Are people getting out? Someone's telling tales of a mysterious island full of riches and science and stuff. Is it just ships at sea that can see it from afar and never land here? They're spreading tales. They look through the spyglass and they see the ancient ruins. And they report back on it. Don't know. We don't know. Oh yeah, Christopher, he left, but he never made it to his destination. He disappeared after he left. He left Monarch's Bluff and then disappeared. I remember that one. We read that one. Oh yeah, the turkey racing. We read that one. I think we read that one in the tavern. I don't remember this, but it's kind of scary. Grub, have you marked not the night of the year? The wild hunt is upon us. On this night the fearful flock hide in their beds. Those who fancy themselves hardened make excuses to stay in and have another round, but we brave few venture out. You know the spot. The Goblin Run at the Witch's Hour. We sprint from one clearing to the next. A flight through thorny forests between. If we're fast enough, we make it to the other side. If we're lucky enough, we might catch a glimpse of the Horned One. One of us never comes out the other side. The gang and I will be there. Your presence earns you a better name. Your absence proves your cowardice. Remember, you don't have to be the fastest, you just can't be the slowest. The Goblin Run. Is this going to be a yearly event that they hold on Eternum? Like in the game? The Goblin one? And there's a special horned boss, the Horned One, that only appears on this night and drops exclusive loot, like armor. That would be really freaking cool. It drops exclusive furniture or exclusive things, like a yearly event that only happens once a year. That would be really cool. I hope that's what this is. The Wild Hunt. I hope that's what it is. Here's a bunch of things not yet discovered. Oh yeah, we read all the sad story of the Soul Wardens and how they all ended. They gave everything. They gave up their lives, their souls, everything. From the Covenant? Bremen Luca, why does that sound familiar? Isn't Bremen Luca like a corrupted preacher in one of the churches that we had to fight? And isn't it weird that some of the bosses in the churches were Angry Earth people? Like, was there some kind of communication between whoever lived, like the preacher and the Angry Earth, and somehow the preacher became infected and became an Angry Earth? Because remember, some of the bosses were Angry Earth people with giant swords, and I said, "Samurai, we have to fight that angry samurai." It was an Angry Earth samurai, but it wasn't a samurai. It was just a giant Angry Earth dude. There's more lore there as well. The spark. Perhaps we are not worthy of it after all. I view the lost as they go about their days in perfect harmony. No concerns, no worries, no need for conflict or violence save for those that wish to do them harm. Is this what we are meant to learn from Eternum? To become lost is the way to find the true path? I shall meditate on this and seek guidance. Apostate Bremen Luca. I think Luca became one of those giant Angry Earth people. I think so. The name Bremen Luca sounds familiar. Oh, now there's 3. Covenant, Syndicate, Marauders. Oh, these are the different manifestos. A Covenant pamphlet. Keep faith. Shall we rejoice? Humankind's oldest enemy is gone. Death is dead. We have reached the promised land. Yet there are some who call it a false promise. This land seeks our ruin, they cry. But even more dangerous are the enemies within. Moral weakness binds us to the truth. Those who live in the dark can never recognize paradise. But where eyes fail, faith sees. The Covenant carries the spark. In our time of need, the spark carries us. Clarity is our greatest gift. We bring the light of the spark to the darkest corners. We keep it shining at any cost, against any foe. And one day, it will shine bright enough to reveal paradise itself. A Syndicate pamphlet. reach exceeding. All worlds are bound by certain natural laws. A scientist's job is to know them. Thanks to Newton, we now know that the small echoes the large. The song of the spheres is the same tune as a falling apple. With the microscope came knowledge of invisible life, too small to see. Yet all around us, these discoveries didn't change the world because they have always been true. But they changed us, humankind. We have grown. Knowledge is transformative, creation's most powerful force. There is so much we still don't know about Eternum. Why don't people die? What animates the lost? Who were the ancients? We must ask questions to find answers. We have just scratched the surface of the secret depths this place holds. It must be studied and understood regardless of the cost. And once we understand reality, we can start to improve it. All rational beings are welcome in the Syndicate. Join us. Help us draw back the veil. There's been a lot of researchers on this island. So apparently the Syndicate came to learn stuff. The Inquisition came to spread the word of the Spark. And the Marauders? Let's keep this short. We're the Marauders. We don't make fancy speeches. We don't need preachy causes. The only thing we need is ourselves. This island is stuffed with opportunities for people of ambition. People who take what they want. Riches, power, respect. You want these too, don't you? Everyone does. We're just honest enough to admit it. Nothing is fair. Nothing has meaning outside the meaning you give it. Embrace it. We are the masters and mistresses of our domain. It's a brutal world out there. Don't be a victim. Be a marauder. These people came for conquest. They're gonna take what they want. I don't think that's a good strategy, considering everything on this island is like against you. And if you die, you join the enemy forces. So you're just running out to kill yourself as fast as you can so you can join the enemy forces as fast as you can, making the enemy's army larger and larger. Brute force is not a good option, if you ask me. Converting the inhabitants of the island to more peaceful ways, that might be an option, except that every time you die, you lose a little bit more of your soul and a little bit more of your sentience. So you're probably trying to convince like wild animals to convert. Wild animals that can't even think for themselves or make decisions and whatnot. So that strategy's probably not going to work. The Syndicate is trying to understand and everything, figure everything out, why it works, what makes it work, what is it, what's going on. This seems like the best strategy. However, how does it work? What is it? What if we find out that there's no hope because we can't stop it? What if we can only make it worse? What if we think it's one thing, but it's not? And then, in spreading it, we accidentally destroy the world. Just because it's scientific doesn't mean it's awesome. There's a lot of undiscovered bad things that haven't been discovered. It's up to humans how they use science. And humans are not the best. we haven't evolved past selfishness and greed and lust for power and stuff like that. We're not. Science is outpacing a moral evolution. Moral evolution. We're not at a point where we can just have all the technology we want, because we can't control the technology we have now. So this is not a good strategy either. Just knowledge for the sake of knowledge without the morals to use it correctly is not a good strategy either. So what's going to happen on Eternum in the end? We're all going to die. We're all going to come back as corrupted and whatnot. And the island will continue. That's what I think. The island will go on. That's me thinking about stuff. Look how much I'm thinking. Look at my head. See, I'm thinking about all the stuff. Trying to figure stuff out. See how my head's moving around? Thinking about it. The island will continue until human beings evolve to be good instead of evil. If that even happens at all, we might kill ourselves before that happens. Look at me thinking hard. Yep, thinking hard. Alright, so that's the lore we have so far. It opens up a lot of new questions. A lot of new possibilities. We're going to have to sleep on it. Maybe the answers will come to us in a dream. A lot of times in real life, I figure stuff out when I'm asleep, and then I wake up with the answer in the morning. So I'm going to go to bed now. Thanks for watching this episode of Lore. I'll dream on it and all the stuff. And then I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everybody.